Dry tires versus a wet track in F1 2021. That means we won't be pitting for any inters when it starts raining, and we'll try and see if we can keep it on the road without crashing all the way until the end of this Russian Grand Prix. Now for strategy. So I tried to compare starting on the medium tires versus starting on the soft tires, and personally I found the soft tires to be the better tires to start on. So 5 lights are on, lights out, and let's begin. Alonso getting a good start there as we overtake Sainz and Hamilton right away, trying to go into the slipstream of Alonso to try and get ahead of him as well. We're already now P5 before we even get to turn 2. Braking a little later, going alongside Alonso, I go over the sausage curb on the inside, and unfortunately I lose some time there. Now unfortunately I can't even overtake into turn 4 because I'm just too far behind Alonso. We're going to try and hold on to Alonso and see if we can get past him and maybe keep up with the Red Bulls for a good chance at the podium. We're going to go side by side with Alonso, still going faster than him despite not using overtake. We're going to brake just a little bit later, still going side by side through here, and we end up ahead. Now we just got to keep up with Perez. So far we're about 8 tenths down on him. So as long as we avoid losing more than a tenth every lap, we should be good for DRS. So now coming to the end of lap 2, after setting a purple sector in the first sector, we now have DRS, but unfortunately I'm too far behind Perez, who's now almost 1.5 seconds ahead of us. Meanwhile Alonso behind us is just barely inside the DRS range, and he's benefiting from us pulling him along. Now end of lap 3, Verstappen again with another fastest lap. We've lost even more time to Perez, and Alonso even caught up to us just a little bit. Now about 9 tenths down.
Perez is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 2.0 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Alonso behind. The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh softs. Okay, gap to leader 4.5 seconds. Your pit window opens in 2 laps time. There are 10 laps to go. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
So anyways, Jeff decided to suggest a new strategy for us. He said we should go long. Instead of pitting on lap 6, we pit on lap 8. So I'm guessing my tire management was better than expected. So we're going to be going for the overcut on this race. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. But one benefit of the overcut is that we'll have fresher tires when that rain begins to hit. And it should make driving just a bit easier. Now coming to the end of lap 4, Alonso is still behind us and still within DRS range. We're literally just pulling him along and probably forming a DRS train. With Perez so far ahead, I don't think we'll be able to get a podium today, but we've somehow managed to pull ahead of Alonso now, just over 1 second ahead of him. As I said, the green sector there, I run a bit wide, which obviously loses us time. As we come to the end of the 6th lap, Perez becomes the first one to pit.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
That means the rain is going to be coming soon, and definitely before the last lap.
Verstappen is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 5.4 seconds. They're on old softs. Alonso is behind you. The gap behind us is 1.9 seconds. They're on old softs. The distance to the leader is...
As we come to the end of the 7th lap, you can start to see the clouds up in the sky, which probably means that the rain is going to be coming soon.
Let's box this lap.
Alonso and Leclerc now pit.
Daniel's in for his stop. Looks like rain is inbound, and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes till the rain. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So now we're going to pit in on the 8th lap, being a bit more conservative into the entry just to avoid a penalty. It will be interesting to see where we come out. As we see Bottas coming out of the pits. Interestingly though, he's gone for the hard tires.
Go, go, go.
So now let's see where we come out at the end of the pits. There goes Perez, who's now within a second of us, which probably shows that the overcut was actually the better choice here. And even Lewis Hamilton is now behind us. This means that we might actually be able to get a podium in this race, as long as we keep within Perez DRS zone. So now coming into the next DRS zone, out of turn 10, we just barely miss it by just being 1800ths too slow to get the DRS.
The gap to the car in front is less than a second. Let's try and get past in the DRS zone.
You finally get it.
Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
When Jeff stops giving you weather updates, that's when you know it's raining. As you can see, the raindrops just start falling there. So that DRS helps us so much here as we get closer to Perez. We might even be able to make a move sometime on this lap. So now we finally get it. We might be able to even go for a move. But with the rain though, it might make it a bit tricky as we decide to go around the outside, braking here. I didn't feel like I braked too late here, but unfortunately the rain said there's just not enough grip. I ran wide, but thankfully no incident. As we look back to lap 10, you can see Latifi spinning out after touching the curb on the inside. So now on the next lap, we finally get to be able to make a move as we get closer and closer and closer. But we just brake a bit earlier this time, just to avoid that same mistake I made earlier. But with the rain getting heavier, I feel like it's going to be even harder to overtake sooner or later. You can even see the puddles forming now on the track as I struggle to get on the power through that last corner. Maybe now we'll finally get it. Once again, trying around the outside, braking and getting inside line through this corner. We managed to make it stick. But now the track is just so slippery, you can see how much I'm struggling to control the car.
Our gap to the car in front is 3.8 seconds. This light rain is going to be with us for a while now. Not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
It will be interesting to see if anyone boxes for inters, but with only 2 laps remaining, I don't think it'd be possible to make up a whole 12 seconds in a single lap. As I spin the car here, trying to carry too much speed. And you can just see the car just spins so slowly, it just shows you just how little grip there is. And unfortunately, we all drop all the way down to P8. Even our teammate gets ahead of us. And I just keep struggling to keep the car under control. So here's a replay again. You can see I turn in, I spin, but compared to Latifi's spin, it was so much slower, thanks to the really low grip conditions. But now unfortunately, you drop all the way from a podium position all the way down to P8, just barely hanging onto the points. You can see the car is just sliding around so much. Now Sainz has even caught up to us. We might even drop down to P9 if we don't defend properly. I brake more conservatively, but unfortunately that wasn't enough even.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
I pretty much ran wide and had to take the escape road. Sainz getting an easy P8. But now with the next driver 4 seconds behind, maybe it's time to just slow down and just give up on trying to catch up to Sainz. As we run wide again, with the front tires locking up. So now braking into the next corner, we run wide again, just showing you just how difficult it is to keep the car under control.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
As we even see Sainz there almost losing it as well through turn 8.
Some information on Gasly. They're retiring from the race. Green flag.
We'll take a look at the replay. So here he comes. Let's see, nothing wrong so far. But then he touches the green stuff on the outside and he just spins into the wall. I don't know what's going on with the blue car though. And the Aston Martin. They could have avoided that. But anyways, here's the perspective. He also loses it and then just crashes into the other car. This shows you just how difficult it is to drive in these conditions. He ended up retiring at the next corner. And then here's Sebastian Vettel. As you can see, the Alpine, they're just losing it and then crashing into the other car. Then here's Gasly's perspective. You can see him touching the outside there and then just spinning. No chance of saving it there. And then here's the Aston Martin that just crashed into it. It's just the AI being dumb again. As you now come in to the final lap, you can see just how much spray is being thrown up. Just shows you just how wet it is on this track. As Max Verstappen wins the race. And we are just barely managing to survive out here. Surprisingly though, no one decided to pit at all here in the front. As we then come through the final corner, and there it is, we finished. That was a bit disappointing. I'm sorry for the bad commentary. It's been a while since I've done something like this. We almost had a podium there, but I just managed to throw it away. So the lesson here is soft tires don't work well in the rain. So if you ever end up in a situation like this, definitely take advantage of traction control and ABS just to make things a bit more manageable.